Good afternoon, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is Red Pill News. I had a lot of people just up in arms that I couldn't remember Marvin Bush's name in that one video I did about the funeral. And I do apologize. There's only so many things I can fit into my head at any one given moment. But yes, Marvin Bush had some troubling connections to the tragedy that happened in 2001. So we're going to go over an article by a website called Common Dreams. It's written by Maggie Burns, and it's titled Bush-Linked Company Handled Security for the World Trade Center, Dulles International Airport, and United Airlines. On the very day of the tragic space shuttle crash, the government appointed an independent investigative panel, and rightly so. Why didn't it do the same on September 11th, 2001? And so it begins. George W. Bush's brother was on the board of directors of a company providing electronic security for the World Trade Center, Dulles International Airport, and United Airlines, according to public records. The company was backed by an investment firm, the Kuwaiti American Corp., also linked for years to the Bush family. The security company, formerly named Securicom and now StratSec, is in Sterling, Virginia. Its CEO, Barry McDaniel, said the company had a completion contract to handle some of the security at the World Trade Center up to the day the buildings fell down. It also had a 3-year contract to maintain electronic security systems at Dulles Airport, according to a Dulles contracting official. Securicom StratSec also handled some security for United Airlines in the 1990s, according to McDaniel, but it had been completed before his arriving on the board in 1998. McDaniel confirmed that the company had security contracts with the Department of Defense, including the U.S. Army, but did not detail the nature of the work, citing security concerns. It has an ongoing line with the General Services Administration, meaning that its bid for contracts are non-competitive, and also did security work for the Los Alamos Laboratory before 1998. Marvin P. Bush, the president's youngest brother, was a director at StratSec from 1993 to fiscal year 2000. But the White House has not publicly disclosed Bush connections in any of its responses to 9/11, nor has it mentioned that another Bush-linked business had done security work for the facilities attacked. Marvin Bush joined Securicom when it was capitalized by the Kuwaiti American Corporation, a private investment firm in D.C. that was the security company's major investor, sometimes holding a controlling interest. Marvin Bush has not responded to telephone calls and emails for comment. QAM has been linked to the Bush family financially since the Gulf War. One of its principals and a member of the Kuwaiti royal family, Mishal Youssef Saud al-Sabah, served on the board of StratSec. The managing director at QAM, Wirt D. Walker III, was also a principal at StratSec, and Walker, Marvin Bush, and al-Sabah are listed in SEC filings as significant shareholders in both companies during that period. Marvin Bush's last year on the board at StratSec coincided with his first year on the board at HCC Insurance, formerly Houston Casualty Company, one of the insurance carriers for the World Trade Center. He left the HCC board in November 2002, but none of these connections have been looked at during the extensive investigations since 9/11. McDaniel says principals and other personnel at StratSec have not been questioned or debriefed by the FBI or other investigators. Walker declined to answer the same question regarding QAM, referring to the public record. Walker is also chairman and CEO of Aviation General at Tulsa, Oklahoma-based aviation company with 2 subsidiaries. SEC filings also show al-Sabah as a principal and shareholder in Aviation General, which was recently delisted on the NASDAQ. StratSec was delisted by the American Stock Exchange in October 2002. The suite in which Marvin Bush was annually re-elected, according to public records, is located in the Watergate in space leased to the Saudi government. The company now holds shareholder meetings in space leased by the Kuwaiti government there. The White House has not responded to various requests for comment. Speaking of the Watergate, Riggs National Bank, where Saudi Princess Al Faisal had her Saudi money trail bank account, has one of its executives, Jonathan Bush, an uncle of the president. The public has not learned whether Riggs, which services 95% of Washington's foreign embassies, will be turning over records relating to Saudi finance. Meanwhile, Bush has nominated William H. Donaldson to head the Securities and Exchange Commission. Donaldson, a longtime Bush family friend, was a Yale classmate of Jonathan Bush. At the end of the day of the tragic space shuttle crash, the government appointed an independent investigative panel, and rightfully so. Why didn't it do the same on September 12, 2001? And that's the end of the article. Just detailing some very troubling coincidences between the events that took place that day and the agencies or companies that were supposed to be protecting those targets. Very, very strange. Now, next, we have an interesting article from Wade Madsen from the Wilderness Publications. Marvin Bush employee's mysterious death. Connections to 9/11? This is from October 10th, 2003, Washington. At around 9 p.m. on September 29th, Fairfax County, Virginia police responded to a 911 call describing an accident. However, they soon discovered they were not dealing with a routine emergency, but the mysterious death of an employee of the 47-year-old brother of President George W. Bush, venture capitalist Marvin Bush. 62-year-old Bertha Champagne, described as a longtime babysitter for Marvin and Margaret Bush's two children, son Walker, 13, and daughter Marshall, 17, was found crushed to death by her own vehicle in a driveway in front of the Bush family home in the Alexandria section of Fairfax County. Champagne reportedly lived at the Bush family home. Champagne had left the residence to retrieve something from her car, which police say had somehow been left in gear. According to the police report, the car rolled forward and pinned the woman between it and a small building next to the driveway, possibly a checkpoint built by the Secret Service when Marvin's father, George H.W. Bush, was president. The car crossed Edge Hill Drive, a small street in front of the Bush compound. The vehicle then crossed a busy two-lane street, Fort Hunt Road, finally coming to rest in a wooded area across the street that adjoins the prestigious Belle Haven Country Club. No explanations have been offered as to why the vehicle did not move until Champagne was in a position to be crushed. Champagne was pronounced dead on arrival at Inova Mount Vernon Hospital. Courtney Young, a spokesperson for the Fairfax County Police, was surprised when asked about the circumstances surrounding Champagne's death. She indicated the media was primarily focused on another Fairfax County story, the kidnapping and holdup of the wife of New Hampshire Senator Judd Gregg on October 7th. More mystifying is the fact that the Washington Post waited almost an entire week to publish the story about the babysitter's death. The incident occurred on September 29th, but the Post did not report about it until October 5th and buried it on page 3 of the Metro section. Nevertheless, the Washington Post was the only media outlet to cover the story at all. Young said police did not know the exact cause of Champagne's death. Young said the police had posted the incident on its website in a press release, although the report makes no mention of Marvin Bush. It reads, a 62-year-old Alexandria area woman died after being pinned between a rolling car and a building. The crash happened on Monday around 9 p.m. near the intersection of Fort Hunt Road and Edge Hill Drive. Bertha Champagne had gone outside to get something from a car in a driveway. The car, which was left in gear, began to roll forward. Champagne was pinned between the car and a small building next to the driveway. The car continued to roll down the driveway, crossed Fort Hunt Road, and came to rest in a wooded area. Champagne was taken to Inova Mount Vernon Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. I think it's also extremely interesting that the car was left in gear, but it didn't move until she was in a position to be in front of it. The press release is dated September 30th at 1:30 p.m., some 16 and a half hours after the incident occurred. The police were well aware of Marvin Bush's controversial role in serving on corporate boards for companies associated with the 9/11 terror attacks. However, they emphasized that Champagne's death was merely a quirky accident and no foul play was involved. Okay, so this next paragraph details the information that we just went over. But this is new. Saudi Princess Haifa al-Faisal, the wife of Saudi ambassador to the U.S. Prince Bandar, used a Riggs account to funnel money to Omar al-Bayoumi and Osama Baznan, two Saudi students in California associated with two of the 9/11 hijackers. Until November 2002, Bush served on the board of HCC Insurance Holdings, a reinsurer for the World Trade Center. Bush still serves as an advisor to the firm. Walker serves as Chief Executive Officer of Aviation General, an aircraft company backed by QAM. Aviation General, formerly Commander Aircraft, brokered the sale of airplanes to the National Civil Aviation Training Organization, located in Giza, Egypt, the hometown of lead hijacker Mohammed Atta. Cato is the only civilian pilot training school in Egypt. Cato has a training agreement with Embry-Riddle University in Daytona Beach, Florida, the flight school that was investigated by the FBI for possibly training at least one of the 9/11 hijackers. A Houston businessman who worked closely with the Bush family over the years confided that Marvin Bush and Wirt Walker appeared to have taken over the Saudi real estate investment and aircraft brokerage business once run out of Texas by Houston-based James Bath in association with Salman bin Laden. the late brother of Osama bin Laden and Khalid bin Mahfouz. The source, who has dealt personally with the Bush family in Houston for a number of years, said there should be skepticism when looking at bizarre deaths like that of Champagne. The source speculated that Champagne might have happened upon some sensitive information the Bush family wanted kept secret. Some observers wondered if Secret Service agents might have been able to assist Champagne when her car pinned her. According to the Secret Service in Washington, the agency only provides protection to presidential siblings if an executive order authorizes such action. A Secret Service spokesperson emphasized there is no current Secret Service protection for Marvin Bush. However, there remains a question why private security agents posted at the Bush compound could not have responded to Champagne's distress. There are also questions concerning Champagne's actual place of residence. According to the Post story, Bush told police that Champagne resided at their compound. However, a phone call to the directory-listed residence of Bertha Champagne in Franconia, Virginia, resulted in Mrs. Champagne's son answering the phone. He confirmed that his mother lived at the Franconia address, but he was clearly uncomfortable and nervous in talking to the media about the circumstances surrounding his mother's death. Very, very strange. I'm going to let you guys tell me what you think in the comment section below. And that's all I have for right now about Marvin Bush, but I think this is a very interesting subject, and I'll probably be doing some more digging and bringing you what I find. Thank you once again for joining me on Red Pill 78 Red Pill News. I am the Corruption Detector. Everyone have a lovely day, and God bless.